அவனை சொல்லி நிறுத்துங்களேன்டா.
Don't join Articleship based on the recommendation of a friend who works there. It's probably a trap and you should just run. Because he's just looking for a scapegoat when the seniors leave in 6 months. After that, you'll have to take on all the workload until you find the next scapegoat. Let me help you make the biggest decision of your CA life, that is choosing your practical training, aka Articleship. Hello everyone, I am CA Venkatramanan.
ஷண்முகம் அண்ணா ஒரு தடவை சொல்லுங்கடா. ஷண்முகம் அண்ணா கடையோட முழுசா சொல்லுங்கடா. சரி சலூன் கடை ஷண்முகம்.
Before you decide where to do your Articleship, know what kind of firms exist, what they do, and what do they expect from you.
நாங்கெல்லாம் சிங்கத்தோட உண்ணாக்க வெட்டுக்குன்னு பிடிங்க திங்கறீங்கடா. மர தமிழே.
There are 5 types of CA firms. First one would be your Big 4s and Big 6. The second one would be your top 20 to top 40 firms. The third one would be your upper mid-size firms. The fourth one would be your mid-size firms. The fifth category would be your small-size firms or solo practitioners. These are the CA firms that exist in India, and I just categorized it so that it will be easier for you to relate to and compare with whatever firms you are thinking of joining. The Big Fours. These are your EY, KPMG, Deloitte, and PwCs. Grant Thornton and BDO are also similar firms, but they don't call it the Big Four. It's collectively called the Big Six. In my opinion, the work cultures are same, so I'm going to categorize it as one thing. The work that they do will be for big clients, or they'll be taking up big assignments. By big, I mean companies who have private equity investors. You get it, right?
Hey, that's pretty good.
Those are big companies, so the audit team that they will need will be huge. The extensivity or the depth that they will be going will be huge. So, coming down to you, the work that you will be doing will be restricted to 1 or 2 areas. You get it, right? It's a big company. You cannot do the entire thing on your own. So, don't expect. Your work will be restricted to 1 or 2 areas. There are few lucky people who have done complete audits, but those are for subsidiaries of those listed companies. It might not be that big. The subsidiaries will be small things, right? Just to hold assets, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
The pay in the Big 4 or Big 6 are the highest in the industries. They pay from 10,000 to maximum 20,000 in the second year. But in my opinion, when you are applying for a Big 4 or Big 6, don't think about the pay. It's gonna be huge. You are gonna be taken to all 5-star hotels and stuff. The lifestyle is gonna be epic.
நான் அடிச்ச மணி கடவுளுக்கு கேட்டு சொல்லியோ கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு கேட்டுருச்சு அடி சாம்பார் அப்பாயின்மெண்ட் ஆர்டர்.
But the work load is gonna be huge that you will not totally think about the pay at all.
அரசாங்க உத்தியோகத்துக்கு ஆசைப்பட்டு இங்க வந்து தெரு தெருவா வீதி வீதியா குல்பி ஐஸ்கார மாதிரி மணி அடிச்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கேன்.
ஏய் பிச்சுமணி,
என்னப்பா
பில் யார் தரது?
வர்றய்யா.
The pay that the other firms give is commensurate to the work that they get done from their clients. So don't expect too much. How do you get into a Big 4 or Big 6? Big 4s and Big 6 do not take in candidates who have passed CA intermediate in more than 3 attempts. By that, I mean that you would have passed CA intermediate in less than 3 attempts.
அதுக்காக நீங்க அழுவ கூடாது.
இல்ல ஒண்ணு இல்ல
இல்ல நீங்க அழுவுறீங்க.
இல்ல சார்.
இல்ல கண்ணு கலங்குது.
அழுவல சார்.
இல்ல வந்துடுச்சு. சாரி, டேய் அழுவுடா எரும மாடு. அழுவுடா.
There are exceptions to this case, but it is quite few. These Big 4s and Big 6 typically have their normal corporate lifestyle, HR round, group discussion, partner round, quantitative test, and every other thing to filter out people.
Yeah.
How do you get into a Big 4 or Big 6? One hack would be to use a referral from someone who's already working there. It might be an article assistant who's working there, or it might be an executive or a manager who's working there. Any referral from some person working there would get you in easily. The chances is typically increased in that case. The top 20 to 40 firms. These are your Brahmaya, Shuri & Co, PKF Sridharan Santanam, and such other similar firms. These firms have similar structures and systems as the Big 6 have, They have clients as big as the big six have also. But in extra, they also take up assignments which the big fours or the big six don't take. The pay is as much as the big fours or big six do, but it will never go beyond what they pay. But the work that they do is similar, as I already said. So the recruitment is tight as well. They don't have a 3-attempt policy. So the vacancies, whenever they open up, is going to be filled up pretty much easily. So you will definitely need a referral here as well. The only concern when you choose a top 20 firm over a big 4 or a big 6 would be your post-qualification opportunity. Of course, it's easier for you to get into corporates, but some consulting firms, the top ones, BCG kind of firms, they are specifically ask for a big 4 articleship, not even a big 6. They ask for a big 4 articleship. That's the only differentiator. The upper mid-size firms. These are firms that typically have branches in more than 3 cities. They typically have big shot 7 partners and they host around 10 to 20 practicing chartered accountants under their umbrella. These firms have a clientele which probably constitutes of 20% of big companies and the other 80% would be your mid-size companies with around 100 crores, those kind of companies, and a good diverse opportunity for you to explore. The main branch or a main place of this firm will be a happening place where you will get lovely exposure with almost like from your salary return to doing a listed company's internal audit and more other things as well. The pay here would be something in the upside of 8,000. You can definitely expect high work pressure here. These are the firms that under recruit and over get jobs done. A nerd's point of view, these are the places where you will be getting opportunities to do 1 year's work in 8 months probably. The post-qualification opportunity is also pretty much open here so that you can take your regular corporate route. You can join a big 4 or big 6 or you can confidently enter practice. Mid-size firms. These are firms which operate with less than 3 partners and are based out of one city. They do any kind of work they can get their hands on. You get an exposure from a listed company to even an individual salary return. It's probably pretty much intense and the systems are pretty much non-existent or not so complicated as you would expect in an upper mid-size firm or a big 4. So the work that goes on there is 100% transparent for you to see. In 6 months or sometimes even less, you will have a good chance to work on most audits independently. That's the biggest advantage of working in a mid-size firm. You will get to do audits of companies independently, of course with supervision and training, so that you can understand how MSMEs operate and understand the mindset of small business owners. This is the biggest advantage of working for a mid-size firm. You cannot expect a stipend that is commensurate to your efforts, definitely, but the stipend varies. It's definitely less than 10,000 and it varies from city to city and firm to firm. Then there is your small firms or solo practitioners. These are one-man armies with a team size of less than 10 people and clientele is quite okay here. But the best thing about these things is the transparency and the flexibility you get. The pay won't be that much, but if you filter out good firms and work with an enterprising attitude, there is endless exposure for you regarding how you can set up your practice and how you can build a practice. Remember that you cannot get a COP immediately after passing in the new scheme. You have to work 1 year under a practicing chartered accountant to get a COP. So these places will end up becoming a heaven for you. Also, just because you didn't work for a big 4 or a top firm, you will not be starved of corporate opportunities. I personally know people who have worked in small size firms and mid-size firms getting placed with 14 lakh packages in corporates. Articleship or practical training is one of the most crucial decisions in your CA life. It is probably 40% of your entire CA life. It can make or break your CA life. Imagine if you choose to not do articleship and watch Salar for 2 continuous years. You probably would have watched it 3,000 times. If you choose to watch Animal instead of Salar, you probably might have watched it little less. But the point is, it's that long. It should mean something serious, right? So we definitely have to take a wise decision. decisions. How do you take wise decisions? Simple. Ask better questions. Before that, there is this one common mistake that every CA student has almost the potential chance of making. I'll talk about it at the end of the video, but remember that there is one mistake and watch out. There are three things that you should consider before choosing your articleship firm. The top and the number one thing is the people. The second thing is the work that you do. The third thing would be the opportunities that you get. Let's see. People. I put people on top instead of work or opportunities. Noticed? It's because of this quote that always keeps coming to my mind. You are the average of the 5 people you spend your time with. Heard this before? CA is a lonely course, and articleship period is probably going to be one of your transformative years. You don't want to spend that time with people who don't want whatever you want and who don't match your vibe as well. You want to be with people who are better than you and who can teach you a lot of things and you can learn a lot. How do you find such firms or such people? Talk to the people who work in firms. DM. Use LinkedIn DMs. Use LinkedIn DMs a lot. Talk to friends of friends. It might come out as creepy at first, but you need to do this. You can't just have this Sigma profile and not talk to people and know about firms. You need to collect information. You need to know a lot about how these firms operate. Talk to a lot of people. Look at the partner's profile. Do you see some parts of him in yourself in a future version? Do you want to become some parts of him? Ask yourself that question. And last but not the least, look at their alumni. Where are they placed right now? What are they doing right now? And you might be surprised when you get the answers for this question, but how many of their alumni have passed CA? In mid-size firm, this question is going to trigger a lot of surprising answers, but that's the truth. Most articles in mid-size firms don't get to pass CA. Look at firms where the pass rate is obviously high and join there because the people that firm attracts is positive and the energy in that firm is positive. That's all you need to think about people. Don't take too much details in this, but emphasize people first because CA is a lonely course. Work. Ask as to what kind of work they give the article assistants. What kind of work you will be doing. But in mid-size firm, don't always go looking for specialized work. Transfer pricing, audit, international clients. Don't always do that. In mid-size firms, ask whether they will be giving you professional work and you will not be misused for data entry jobs. This is probably a good set of questions that you can be asking in a mid-size firm. Of course, there is going to be a lot of monotonous job initially, but it should lead to something meaningful at the end of your term. With respect to opportunities, assess their brand. Whether working there will help you in your chances to getting into another firm or getting into your corporate, or even if they work with some big clients, whether working in that firm will enhance your chances of getting a future job in that client. Assess those things. The brand aspect is more crucial when you are working for a big four because only chances that you can get into a top consulting firm is when you work for a big four. Think about those set of questions and even come up with questions that you feel is necessary for the firm. Ask a lot of questions. This might feel like you are coming out of your shell initially, but this will help you make great decisions. One common mistake that every CA student has the potential of making is blindly joining their relative's firm or neighbor's firm or the firm that their friend currently works. Something like that. That's basically latching on to someone's decision. Of course, the other person might be a bright person, might be a successful person, but you latching on to their decision or taking the easier route is not making a decision. It's basically escaping from making a decision.
Wake up to reality. Nothing ever goes as planned in this accursed world.
This is one of your crucial chapters of your life. You cannot afford to latch on to somebody's decision and just escape the consequences or escape the process of making a decision. This is not going to help you. Of course, this might work as well. This has a good chance of working out. The other person might be a smart person. The other person might care a lot for you and might be doing well as well. But before you choose that person, decision is well, or choosing to work in your relative's firm or something like that, consider the consequences. Is that what you want? Is this what you expect from yourself? Consider all those questions, and if both of those match, what are the both of those? Your wants and needs and the opportunity that your relative's friend or friend's friend's firm, that kind of firms are match, only then you should be joining those firms. If not, you'll have to choose whatever works for you. Don't worry about what they will think or blah blah blah. That is not going to matter in the long run. They might be hardened with you for like 3 months minimum. That's all. After that, if things work out for you and you make it big, they are going to only be supportive for you. They just care. But you should care for yourself first before you just latch on to decisions. This is one common mistake that I see every student is doing, and it's basically a trap.
It's a trap!
Just make your own decisions. We have not talked about transfer or industrial training or taking self-based assessment courses and stuff, but we will do this later. This video is just basically the fundamentals of articleship and what you should be asking yourself before you join a firm. I will definitely be answering any kind of questions that is specifically worded. Please comment down your questions and I can even help you out in choosing a firm. Just DM me on LinkedIn or in the comments. Let's see you. All the best.
Please whatever. I want to reach 1 million likes. So please, sarapakarai. Yes.